guys, it's Amber, and we are getting started on a process video for day 2 of my Italy 2019 travel album. So whenever I don't have enough photos for a full spread, I do a little 6x12 insert, and it just helps me with transition pages where I have photos to scrap but not enough space to put them in. So what I'm working on here is we were checking out of our hotel in Bellagio and getting ready to drive to one near Torno, which is 30 minutes away, still on Lake Como. And this is where we were meeting the rest of our big group to stay. So I have a picture of us at breakfast in front of our hotel, at breakfast actually, and then the other side is a photo of driving to our hotel and one of the views along the lake. And then I actually have a little Google screenshot of where we are, because it's not really a town on the map. It's kind of in between towns along the coastline. But anyway, so what I found here is I have an Ellie's Studio card on the top there that I was able to find. It has a little bit of a teal diagonal stripe across the top, and I didn't need a ton of journaling. And I remember that I had this leftover 3x4 geotag transparency from the Ally 2019 kit that it was cut into a 3x4. And the nice thing about these is that it has holes punched in it, but you really can barely tell when you're looking at it. You just kind of see the design, and it's not a big deal. So kind of sticking with this pattern I've been working on with adding some see-through transparencies and really liking that. And I have a little paper die cut there that I want to add, and then I'm looking at those citrus twist word phrase stickers. I'm not sure what the gray one says, but the blue one there says location, 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 and it was a really pretty blue that kind of matched the colors of the photo. So I'm just going to be using my rolling adhesive to attach the flag die cut, pushing it all the way to the right there and cutting off one of the sides. And then I'm going to add the location sticker. And then I'm looking for one more of the lighter green color on top. And I pick one that says Taurus, which I thought was kind of fun. It's a little smaller than I wanted, but made sense for the type of photo that I was showing. And I've been enjoying adding these little flags, die cuts, and word phrase stickers to several of the photos in the album so far. It's just kind of creating some nice consistency and giving me a little something to put on the photo. And then here, what I'm going to do, if you've been around my YouTube channel for a while, you'll know that I like to back all of my photos and cards together once I've made my decision. Partly that's why I scrapbook in chronological order. So I'm just using my roll adhesive in the corners, getting everything lined up, trimming anything that's uneven because they're different manufacturers and photos and products. And then I'm just grabbing a Uniball pen and writing a little bit of journaling. So I'm sliding that back inside and leaving you with some close-ups here instead of leaving everything till the end. So there's our little breakfast along the lake on our drive, a little screenshot showing where we were going. And this is actually the drive pulling into the hotel, because you actually weave down the road a little bit towards the lake, from the top of the hill. So the next page is going to be a 12x12 standard design A insert here, and I always try to place my photos first and figure out my balance. And this is where we were getting ready to check into the hotel. So I have quite a bit of ephemera, and I didn't use everything. There was a few pieces that I threw away, but I enjoy saving this kind of stuff and looking at it and putting it in my albums. And if it doesn't fit, sometimes I don't include it, that's for sure, but I try to fit as much of it in as I can. So that was the little pocket that our hotel key came in, and I just stuck it down inside. I didn't feel like I needed to cut it up or anything. That was a bag tag that had our room number and our name. That was a little fan card that has the logo. So I thought that might make a fun see-through pocket. My original plan was to back it in white paper and maybe do some journaling. And then I realized that I was already going to have one of the travel story cards that had journaling on it, and I didn't really need to journal twice. Plus, I also have that little card with handwriting that's welcoming us. So I ended up just making it backing it in like a blue map paper, which you'll see coming up soon here. So right now I'm just trying to figure out my placement of things, where my 3x4 cards are going to go, where my 3x4 pictures are going to go. Something just didn't feel quite balanced, and you could play with this all day long, and I think I changed it quite a few times actually, but sometimes it's interesting to see what people decide on. So you can see I'm just kind of thinking about it, trying to make decisions, and I actually like it with the blue tag on the top there, but I don't end up leaving it like that. It ends up going back on the far right side of the page. So just making decisions, and I believe that's what I end up sticking with, or something very close, but I definitely had a hard time deciding. So just trying to make some decisions on what's going to go where, sticking them in the pockets so that I can start visualizing what's going to go for the rest of the layout. And I had a pattern paper that was some citrus twist that looked like the fan design, and I wanted to try to use it, but it was just like too much of the pattern everywhere. So grabbing that travel story number 1 from the 2019 travel collection from Allie Edwards, and thumbing through some products to find some 4x6 cards, also from the 2019 kit, trying to find some things that will work. And I end up going with a lost and found gray card that kind of pulls the gray from the travel story card. It's very neutral and kind of shows like, we were moving around and now we found our destination, sort of, is what I was going for. I'm just checking to see if the colors line up and getting some decisions made. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of the sort of cards I was considering, and I really actually like that pink matte paper card from Studio Calco, but I end up using that in a layout in just a few minutes that you'll see. So decision made, I'm going to be going with the lost and found. And this paper is from, I think, Echo Park. I'm trying to remember, but it's a really very subtle, like deep blue navy map pattern on one side and then like a cruise theme on the other. I think it might be Simple Stories actually, from a recent travel collection that they did. And I just thought it would help pull in the blues of the photo but still have like a very subtle travel theme. So I'm just grabbing my Tim Holtz scissors there, which are smaller for cutting tiny little, like when you have to change directions a lot, smaller scissors are definitely the way to go. So it was a little uneven, and it's definitely not a perfect cut job, but I was able to get it pretty close. And I really like the idea of keeping the pocket as like halfway see-through, because I could have just mounted that fan onto a full-size pattern paper and then had another card on the back, but yeah, thought it looked really cute. So I ended up taking the envelope that the welcome card was in, grabbing, I believe, a 1 1/4 inch, maybe a 1 1/2 inch punch, and just punching out the logo just as something else to throw on the back of that little fan, and now I can throw the rest of that away. I'm just grabbing my rolling adhesive, getting that centered and attached on there. And now I'm going to staple it with my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher just to keep it in place. Just one little staple through the front part of the pocket, not all the way through both sides. And the welcome card was definitely slightly different from a 4x6, but it was really close. So I was able to attach it to the lost and found card and get everything all trimmed down before moving on to my journaling card, which will be next. So I'm grabbing that same One Canoe 2 stamp that I used on my day one layout. So I'm going to keep using this one for consistency throughout the album and just using my VersaFine ink. Really love that stuff for fine, tiny little details. And then I'm going to grab my favorite Uniball pen and just journal really quick about what we were doing, how we were heading down. And then adding one little pink puffy sticker to the top of that lost and found card to pull in like a third pink item. So I've got pink on the card to the right there, pink on the travel story card, and then a little bit of pink on the lost and found card. And it's kind of become a theme throughout the album already where I'm using quite a few of these puffy stickers, and I love it. Luckily I have a couple packs. And I apologize that it's a little bit off camera, but I'm going to show you a close-up in 1 second here. The front and the back before moving on to, I have a really quick clip here where all I was doing for this full-size photo of our hotel was to add the Hello Hotel chipboard from last year's kit. So it's just one simple little heart chipboard that's going to get added to the bottom there. I apologize, it's cut off a tiny bit, but really loved keeping the embellishments really simple, but I wanted to add a little something to this one. So just getting that lined up, and there's like an arch in the stone that you'll see in the close-up photo here in a second that actually kind of mimicked the shape of the heart. So I was kind of deciding if I wanted to follow that or keep it like perfectly centered above the lettering. And I was able to get pretty close. So you can see where I'm kind of following that heart shape. So the next page that I am working on, you're seeing the back side of right now. And I realized also that after that picture of the hotel that I needed another full-size photo. So I'm cutting some pieces here that I printed on my paper. So I have a blow-up photo from when we went to dinner, and I added another one of Allie's journaling digital pieces to the photo and just reduce the opacity so you could kind of still see through the words a little bit. And I also changed my mind on what kind of page protector that this was going to be. So to the right hand side by my scissors there, you see I have two 3x4 cards that were already printed, photos that were printed. And I wanted to use that round rubber coaster, and it fit perfectly in a 4x4 page protector. So I picked a page protector that has 4 4x6 slots and 3 4x4s going through the middle. And so I wanted to reprint that full-size photo, and I reprinted those two cards with a different crop that was 4x4. So I tried to think ahead and make all those decisions and print everything out at once. And since I had a little extra space, I also printed some filler cards that I thought I might use, or had already decided I wanted to use somewhere in the album, and I figured now would be a good time to print them out and squeeze as many things out onto that 19x13 paper as I could. So the Super Love This Vacation digital card is from Allie's July of, I think it's either 2017 or 18 kit. I cannot quite remember, but it's got a lot of digital stuff in it. Adventure-y stuff in it. That adventure card is from the adventure kit, and I know I'll use that somewhere in the album. And then I also picked the blue card there that I have was a grayish tone, and I selected the blue from Super and created a card that matched. It just has some sort of travel quote on it. So just so I have a few things on hand at the ready that are not physical copies. And getting everything trimmed up there on my 12x12 trimmer from Making Memories. And then I will be ready to go. And I'll just be recycling the 3x4 pictures that I had previously printed. So I'm just getting everything put into the pockets here. And the other piece of ephemera that I had is on the right hand side there, and that was it's like a fabric coaster, and I did take it into like my bedroom and I ironed it because it's a little wrinkled there from being stored for almost a year in the packaging. It got just a little smushed. So I have the coaster, the rubber coaster, the papery kind of coaster, fabric-y coaster, and then I need to find one more 4x4, either photo or card. So I end up splitting the photos so they're not both on the back, because that coaster there was just kind of like, it needed something else with it. So I pulled out the selfie of me in front of this like awesome garden wall we had on our back balcony. So these are pictures of the hotel room, by the way, what the room looked like, you know, like a shot of the bed. My boyfriend standing there up in the upper left-hand corner off the balcony. Whenever we first get to the room, I try to take a lot of pictures while it's still clean and neat, and you know, you just are super excited right at the beginning of your trip. So I've gotten everything kind of sorted out and decided where I wanted to put things. I have one little chipboard there that says, "So needed this getaway," that I think is from the 2019 chipboard set. And I'm just mounting one of the photos here to paper. I'm trimming off the edge. And I'm going to be mounting my hotel key cards to that. Normally I would have slid them into like a 3x4 pocket, but because I changed it up to the 4x4 pockets, I didn't have any room left. So I'm just using some white basil cardstock with a little bit of texture, and I'm mounting one facing up and one facing down just to take up space so that I can use both. And because they're a little bit thicker, I'm just using little pieces of red line tape. I could have used rolling adhesive, but because the texture is, because the cardstock is textured, I didn't think it would stick very well. So I'm just using a heavier duty adhesive so that, you know, they don't come loose in the future. I always kind of tend to use really strong adhesive because I just don't want something to fall apart or become loose and go missing down the road. So once I have my hotel key cards situated, I'm going to start working on that middle pocket. So my original plan is I'm just backing it with some white chipboard. I could have looked for some pattern paper, but I didn't even bother trying, to be honest. I just figured it'd be easy to stick with white. So I use red line adhesive to attach this to the paper and trim it out. It doesn't actually stick very well. It's a very interesting rubber material, so it just didn't want to keep adhesive on it. But what I ended up doing is I attach to the paper, I trim it down, and then I pull them apart and I attach the rubber piece to some clear acetate that I cut down to 4x4, and then I attach the paper to the other side, just so that it kind of helps position it in the center of the pocket. It will keep it from like sliding around too much, and it'll always look really well centered. I thought about stapling it, but I just didn't want a big old staple through the rubber, and it's actually kind of thick, so I was worried that it wouldn't go through all the way. And the acetate that I use is from Graphics from Amazon. I buy it in the 12x12 sheets, and then I can cut it down to whatever size I need. So I'm adding on that Love This chipboard from the 2018 chipboard set, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of journaling talking about how we loved the view. Like, everyone had different kind of rooms throughout the hotel and like spread across the property, and we were lucky enough to get a really pretty balcony and a really pretty view. Not everyone had the same style room, so it was just kind of nice. So the back is talking all about that. So I used a Love This View card that was from an old story kit from Allie. I believe it was Click, and it's like a craft with a white embossed finish or something on it that you'll see. And then I also found that 4x4 card from Simple Stories that has a little camera on it. And here you can see the finished layouts. So just photos showing the view, my boyfriend in the view, things like that. So finally I am making our lunch layout. So I'm halfway through the day here, and we had a special lunch with our big group of people. Somehow I forgot to take photos. Sometimes like throughout the week, I'm really good at taking photos, but like when we first get there and we're with a bunch of people, I don't want to be like always shoving a camera in everyone's faces. So I tend to not be taking as many photos as I would like. Everyone's traveled and not everyone has showered and not everyone got into their rooms yet. So it was just kind of like respectful of others. So I really only have pictures of the food. It was like a little 3-course dinner. So I decided to use that Super Love This Vacation card, and then I'm using that map card from Studio Calico. It really had a nice pink color from like the world, and that matched the meat. And then I'm using 3x4 transparency again. This one is from like the Recollections collection at Michael's. It's just like a scripty font, but it does say like, has words about adventure and see the world. Made with love, I think, is one of the things. So like I just kind of thought that went well with like our homemade meal here that we had. And then so I took 2 puffy stickers from an old Alley Story kit add-on. I have a red one on the front, a yellow one on the back, and then I added that Thankful for This Adventure chipboard, which is from the Go Story kit. And I hope you enjoyed watching. Added a little memories journal card there, just describing our food. And it's Italy. Like, I love taking pictures of food. That's half of the fun. So, hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks so much, and I'll hope to get part 2 up soon. Thanks. Bye.